Hi, I'm Graham and this is Man v Film. Now, I recently had the extreme pleasure of getting to see Avengers Age of Ultron on the big screen, and it lived up to almost all my expectations. I couldn't believe it. It's a fantastic film.
Man versus film.
Avengers 2 starts off with our heroes chasing after Baron Strucker, who's been cornered to a part of the world where he's been doing experiments on people with Loki's staff from the first movie. The experiments he's been doing has been genetically modifying humans and creating kind of mutants. We're not allowed to call them mutants. And these are Quicksilver and the Scarlet Witch, the only two that have survived the test. Now, the Avengers attack his complex, take down the man and get the staff back, but not without turmoil to themselves. The Scarlet Witch poisons Tony's brain and leads him in a dark path. He decides that he wants to reactivate a plan that he had dismissed, the Ultron plan, and create a robotic, almost police force that would help make sure that peace is made around the world. But he rushes into things too fast. He creates an AI by using something out of the staff, and like a virus takes over almost immediately and becomes sentient, and that is Ultron. And that is the basic premise of the movie, and let's have a look at a few things that I really liked about it. First of all, Ultron is not what I expected. I've seen pictures of him, the robotic man, but he really comes across in Spader's performance as a petulant child, and it's really quite interesting to see. You know, he's trying to evolve. He's recently become sentient, trying to evolve and trying to deal with all these emotions that he's feeling, even though he's a machine. But he doesn't want to be a machine, he wants to become human. And Spader's voice performance is absolutely fantastic. The little tantrums he throws, you know, apologises straight away and then goes into rages. It's a fantastic performance, and Ultron is a really great baddie. Something that, you know, some of the Marvel movies have been missing. This movie ties together threads from all the other cinematic universe Marvel movies and ones in future to come, and it's unbelievably how well it achieves this goal, tying off all these loose threads and creating new ones that's going to expand. There's hints of Black Panther, although he's not mentioned himself, but his country is, and there is definite beginnings of the Captain America and Ironman relationship fracturing, and that comes through the movie, and it's really good to see that not all the time are these guys agreeing on things. My favourite part of the Avengers is without doubt the camaraderie and the interaction between the team, especially in the moments of, you know, they're out of action, they're trying to de-stress, and they're just having these quick one-liners with each other, and they're not always coming off. And there's running jokes that proceed from this throughout the movie, and they all work. Every time they come together, it's a little throwback. It's really well constructed, and Joss Whedon has done a fantastic job of making sure that this script sparkles and shines and shows everybody in the best light possible, and everybody gets the screen time that they need. You don't feel anybody gets short shift throughout the movie at all. In the first Avengers, there was a big thing about the new Avenger, Hawkeye, and it was a very big letdown for me personally in the first movie. It's one of the parts that I didn't really enjoy or like. In this movie, he gets a lot more screen time, and initially you're going to go, oh, do I really want that? But you do, because it expands on the character and actually makes him a character this time around. It shows you his family, and it shows you the other superheroes' response to the fact that he's got a family. You know, there's a little bit of weight in that, and it really emphasises the character and brings him to life. And that was a really good point about the movie, something that I didn't expect and it was really rewarding. The action itself is amazing. It's not like the first movie where there's several set pieces. There seems to be action spotted all the way through this, and it is extremely well shot. And it's a hard balancing act because you've got all the Avengers doing their things and the camera can move from one to another. Everybody gets the time that they need, everybody gets the time they deserve, and they all get to show off a little bit during these action scenes. But my favourite action scene is probably the Hulk versus Iron Man fight, because it is just sheer mayhem. It's so fantastic. I'll tell you more about it, but I really don't want to spoil it for you. But that fight is something special to look out for. The cast is fantastic, and you've got your show members and they get the time they deserve, but also something I wasn't expecting was the fact that it brings in a lot of the smaller characters from other movies. You've got Nick Fury, as always, was here. Hull gets a little bit more screen time than she did in the previous movies, but then you've got things like Rhodes is there from the Ironman movies, and he shows up as Warhammer in a couple of the scenes as well, which I wasn't expecting. You also get the Falcon, you get Haley Atwell showing up from the Captain America movies, you get Stellan Skarsgård showing up from Thor in the first Avengers movie. Idris Elba returns again, and then you also get Stan Lee in his cameo, which is one of the funnier lines in the movie. But then you get 3 new characters that are added to it, major players in the movie. You've got Quicksilver, you've got the Scarlet Witch, and you have Vision. Each one of these, it's hard to pick who my favourite is. They were all had their own special moments in the movie, and they all do fantastically well. But I think the Vision was probably my favourite out of the 3 of them. Oh, it's hard to choose. But the Vision is something different, something that we haven't seen before in the sort of Marvel movies. We've had a hint of it with the Guardians of the Galaxy, but Earth-based things, the Vision's the first of us kind of new wave of the superheroes that they possibly could go in, and Paul Bettany is great in that role. The main cast are all fantastic. Captain America and Tony Stark, the interaction between those characters, Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans, is great. You can feel the tension starting to rise in amongst them. You've got Chris Hemsworth who's doing a great job as Thor, and I can't picture anybody else doing the role now. He's that good at it, and he's got some of the best one-liners in the whole movie. Scarlett Johansson is great as always, and it's really nice to see a female action star superhero like that. Is something that she really should get a movie of her own soon. Hawkeye, like I said, gets a big part and he does really well, but my personal favourite is Bruce Banner, the Hulk. Mark Ruffalo. I think his performance is so nuanced and so fantastic, and I think it's time that we get a new Hulk movie. I am a great fan of the Hulk. I liked Hulk, I really liked the Incredible Hulk, and it's time to get Planet Hulk. You know we want it. I could go on about the Avengers for ages. I've already booked my tickets to go and see it again on Sunday. It is a fantastic thrill ride action spectacle, probably going to be the biggest financial moneymaker of the year, and quite rightly so, because it balances so many things so well and does fantastic. It is a 5-star out of 5 stars for me. I can't wait to see it again, where I can take in some of the smaller bits that I may have missed because it was so overwhelming the first time around. Avengers 2 lives on the promises of the cinematic universe, and it builds on the first movie, creating a really well done action movie that balances all these moving parts so well. You know, if one part failed, the whole thing could have fallen apart around about it, but Joss Whedon holds it all together and does not let that happen. And is it something you should see on the big screen? Absolutely, you should not miss this on the big screen. If you're a superhero fan, you should definitely go and see it. If you're an action movie fan, you should go and see it. It is that good a film. Now remember, if you enjoyed this review and you want to see more of my reviews, first subscribe. There'll be a link in the comment box below on the YouTube page, or there will be an annotation appearing somewhere around about here. Click that link and you will get my content first as soon as it's posted, and I will see you next time on Man v Film.